What's up, everybody? We're back again. It's the Dadbod Golf Pod, episode 27. And, you may be missing not seeing Nate and Ben right now. It's because I got a much more handsome dude that wanted to jump in and join. Good buddy of mine. We share the same birthday. Zach Portemont. Zach, what's up, man?
How's it going? I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, dude. So, Zach, I've been talking to you a while. I wanted to have you on. We've known each other for a long time. Zach played college golf at Troy, 4-year letterman, senior team captain. He's been sort of like a journeyman tour pro, been a teacher. He's a TV star, big break. It was at Palm Beach. Is that right?
Yeah.
Big break, Palm Beach, and just all around awesome guy. We're just happy to have you, man.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to be here. I don't know about the star part, but hopefully we'll change that over the next couple of years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Zach, we, the few episodes that we're 27 episodes in, and we basically talk about golf just like your average Sunday group. Nothing super technical, but we nothing super official, but we just like to have guys that are in the industry that can teach us something that we can learn from, and that's why I wanted to have you on, because you've had so much experience from like all facets of the game, from, like I said, from playing college golf, junior golf, teaching, fitness, and then some of the technology stuff too. That's pretty awesome. That's out right now. But I kind of want to tell a little story first. Yeah. So I gotta tell the story of how we met. This is my first impression on Zach. So Zach was in high school, and I was sort of like this is at Troy University in Troy, Alabama. And I kind of got randomly paired with some of the guys on the golf team. And I wasn't playing golf I was not on the golf team. I was not really playing a whole lot of golf. I just swung the club a lot. So they kind of accepted me in. I was like kind of like a mascot. Really, I was more like a mascot. But so Zach's being recruited by Troy, and the coach was like, "Hey, it's Zach's birthday coming up. Y'all go spend the weekend with him," basically. So the whole golf team.
You and Michael Fry.
Yes. The whole Troy golf team, and they asked me to come too. We go to Andalusia, Alabama, to hang out with Zach and play golf. And this is the funny part. This is our intro. Okay. So we partied way too hard the night before, and then we went and played golf. And this is the Troy golf team now. So there's like crowds around. There's people, coming outside to watch us tee off. And number 10 and number 1 at Andalusia are kind of side by side. So like we're going to split up, some go off the back, some go off the front. And our buddy Jay Harris starts off, and he's possibly a little bit hungover, and he sort of like fats his driver into a tree right off the tee box. And I was like, okay, that's a real college golfer. That took a lot of the pressure on me. So then I get up, and there is the pool, the country club pool is like right beside, not even really right beside, it's completely out of play.
You can't.
It's completely out of play, and there's a gazebo. Okay. And I tee off, and I hit every pole in that gazebo, just right around, totally save our buddy Jay. And I'm sure that was just a great impression as far as the Troy. So everybody's like, "This is the Troy golf team." Like, yeah. But that was a fun time. I know that that made a huge impression on you, Zach. That probably got you to sign with Troy, huh?
That was a good start.
That was a good start. And we all hacked it around. Zach obviously played great. And then so tell us about college. Tell us about like transitioning from like small town Alabama high school golf. You go play in the Sun Belt for 4 years, senior team captain. Like, what kind of like how big of a transition? Like, how long did it take you till you kind of like got your feet under you, this, that, and the other?
Man, it took me 2 years. I had a different upbringing. I grew up on a carnival. I didn't really play that much junior golf.
Right.
So I was a decent player fortunately, Matt Terry, the coach at the time, gave me a scholarship. I was excited about it, all that kind of stuff. But when I got there, I got my brains beat in for the first 2 years. Honestly, really didn't belong in a D1 program, but I'm a very hard worker and kind of pieced it all together watching players that were better than I. And, finally got my feet up under me. My junior year, I started to see some good form, and then my senior year, I played actually good golf at some big events. I lost to Brooks Koepka in his home event. Had I think 3 or 4 straight top tens, was conference player, all that kind of stuff. So it was a good change, and it kind of bridged the gap to turn professional. So it kind of did the job.
When you were playing against Brooks, then did you see it then, or did you think there was something special about him then? Because I kind of thought, I've always heard he was kind of like he's not nearly as big as he is. He was not nearly as big as he is now.
No, he was, man. He and I were, similar. He's got a little bit of height on me, but I mean, it was probably 168 pounds, somewhere around there. But He was just all around a very, very well-rounded player. They make it out sometimes like he had to go to Europe to learn to play, and it's kind of stretched. This guy was solid, man. I mean, his long irons, everything. He played a different game, but yeah, it's been impressive to see his transition and how he's kind of taken it from there and made it what it is now. Solid.
Who's the best college player you probably played with? If it wasn't Brooks, who was probably the best player you played with or you saw play in college?
I actually never thought about that. Carlos Ortiz was probably the most consistent that I competed with. He and I were kind of neck and neck there my senior year. We had some really good rounds together. Good guy.
Yeah.
But I really can't remember back that far.
Clearly, I mean, Brooks ended up being the best one. I mean, obviously with so far 4 majors and things like that. So
yeah. So far. There you go.
So far.
Not done yet.
There you go. So after you get done with college, you graduate in when? 2012?
2000, basically, yeah, middle of that year. I had a couple classes left, so somewhere around there, 12.
What do you do after? What was the journey after that? Like, what do you do after that?
I turned professional and kind of went out on my own. I played mini tours that first year, played really well. Never had the funding behind me. I had to do it on my own. So I coached 2013 and played at the same time. I think that first year averaged like 69 at, I think 8 out of 13 top tens, and basically ran out of money even doing that, and didn't have, like I said, the help to go on. So I started working.
Right. And then it wasn't long after that that the big break kind of came along, right? It was maybe a year and a half or so after that.
Yeah, a year after that, I was in Prattville. I moved to Birmingham. I worked as a outside supervisor on both courses. My brother and I actually wasn't playing that much, but I was still working on my game. I still had the objectives that I've always had. So I went to an event, actually. I shot like 67, 66, hadn't played in, I don't know, 10 weeks or something like that. And my buddy, Jimmy Brandt, actually my best friend.
I know Jimmy,
he won the previous one. So he put in a word. He was like, hey, this guy can really play. He didn't have any money. He'd be a good he's got a different background, not your typical country club kid. So I had an interview, went up, talked to the guys, and they asked what I was doing. I was like, well, I'm working, I've got 3 jobs. I was bouncing at a bar, working outside supervisor. And the carnival thing kind of sold them. So got me on.
So talk about the carnival, like go back a little bit. That's just kind of like a glancing word, but it means so much. So explain kind of like what that meant when you say you lived in a carnival family. What does that mean?
Yeah, my father owned All American Shows Incorporated. It was basically, a lot of people know it better as like a fair, state fair, stuff like that.
Right.
He owned the rides and the corporation, and we basically booked everything else in. And I traveled I would go to school regular in Andalusia, and the day school got out, my brother and I would go up. We would work all summer, and then literally the day before school started back, we would go back down the next morning we start school. So every summer, all the other kids were doing this and that. My brother and I were out there, and it was a interesting lifestyle. We traveled every week, different spots, learned to work hard. It was a good environment to kind of
right. And so like absolutely. You had the baddest birthday parties ever though, didn't you?
Yeah, we like to party a little bit.
Yeah, you had the carnival rides and everything. That was those. I always was jealous. I always wanted to come to your birthday parties. So yeah, exactly. So doing that, like a lot of guys, and I've learned this too. So when I caddied several weeks back for a Form Tour event,
I saw that.
And all the dudes know each other because of like junior golf and stuff like that. And you didn't have that sort of you didn't have, you weren't as you didn't really have that opportunity to kind of like plant your roots and this, that, and the other, because that's a big way that things are like you get recruited and stuff like that as well. So so that's even more impressive that you didn't have. It's kind of like playing on an AAU basketball team. You didn't really have that. Y'all balled out in high school and won a couple state championships, I believe, and three state championships. And that is a different road to get there. But it's even more impressive that you kind of had like a late start, so to speak, or like maybe not a late start, but like not as in-depth start as a lot of these guys have, and you still got to where you were. So that's always been impressive to me. So big break calls. How does that like audition process work? Like, was it like multiple auditions? Did you have to go play for them? Like, how did that, you said you did the interview, but like, how did that whole thing work?
No, that we go up to an event. It was, I think somewhere over in Georgia. I didn't even have the money to play. I just went and talked to the guys. They were beside the range. And my teammate and I, Rourke, you remember Rourke Vanderspa, right? He went, he's a very nice guy, but he does the very professional spiel in the interview and stuff, and I'm listening to him. So they call me up, and the guy's like, "Oh, what's your story?" I'm like, "Well, which one you want to know?"
Right.
And he's like, he kind of looks around the camera. He's like, "Yeah, what does that mean?" I was like, "Well, I grew up on a carnival. I'm not like all these other guys out here. We had a lot of finances at one point, lost everything. So I've been on both sides. Now I'm busting my ass up at a bar. I work a door. I knocked a guy out 2 weeks ago, got fired from that job, and now I'm working at Greystone trying to get back on tour." The guy was just like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
So I was just like, "Yeah." He's like, "What are you shooting?" I was like, "Well, my last tournament, I shot 67, 66, played pretty good." And he was like, "All right, give us your phone number." And that was basically it. He was like, "Well, he shut the camera off and he was like, "Dude, you got to tell me more about this carnival, where they're drugs and stuff." I was just like, "God." He didn't really give us golf. He was just like, "All right, this is different." So,
right. So, how did they like let you know that you got it, or like you're in? Was it then, or they called you a few weeks, or?
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks. They called. I was in Greystone, and they had all these people around the phone and stuff, and they're like, "Hey, you have anywhere you can sit down?" I was like, "Not really. I'm working right now." And the guy's like, "You're in. You're on the show." And I was like, "Okay, I appreciate it. Is there anything I need to do?" And the guy's like, "You're on." Usually we hear a lot of excitement. I was like, "Man, it is 102 degrees out here. I just got done unloading range. I don't really have time right now to be all jumping
excited.
Up and down." Yeah,
but thank you.
Opportunity. Yeah, the guy was just like, "Okay."
Yeah. Uh-oh, do we regret this?
Yeah, he's immediately like, this guy's gonna be an asshole. But no, it was really good.
Yeah, cool. So how quick after that did you have to fly down there to Palm Beach?
It was a while, actually. We went through a lot of stuff after that. We had documents to sign, all this kind of stuff. And then I can't even actually remember when it was, maybe a month or so.
Yeah.
But everything was very, a lot of NDAs, stuff like that. So it was pretty hush hush.
Gotcha. So you played at, y'all did all the shooting was done at PGA National, right? That's where pretty much all of it, which is absolutely awesome to think that you get to play that course basically for however long. they break it up. It's like 8 or 10 episodes over 8 weeks. You're
Yeah.
not there anywhere near that length of time. So like, how long is the whole, like that whole show, the actual show?
Somewhere around 14 days we were down there.
14 days.
Yeah.
And then are you basically like doing the skill stuff every single day, or like all day, or do you do like, y'all just go like play in the mornings and then y'all do skill stuff in the afternoon? Like, how did that whole?
It was incredibly impressive how organized and structured they were. I mean, they're obviously it's a serious show, but the production, the way they have it set up was kind of eye opening. I mean, we would start at basically right at 4:45, 5 in the morning, do the makeup, get ready, and you'd basically warm up. And then it was kind of interesting. You'd wait a little bit while they're setting everything up, but it was an all day deal. I mean, it wasn't, they're not messing around. So they kind of had everything structured very well. We would do this, film, and then get up. Even when you got kicked off, which I got kicked off very early, it was still, you had the excursions and stuff. You're still incorporated in it. So it was very cool to see how they made all that work.
You got screwed on the shootout on that lie in the rough. That was you hit it like bad. It was a bad break on big break. It like you hit I think your drive goes like literally like 2 yards out of the fairway, and it's like it sinks down like 3 inches. You can't even see the ball. It's like that was
the first one. I actually hit a good shot out of there, almost hold it, and 2-putted, and we both made it through. And then the next day, Chad Pfeiffer actually eliminated me on that kind of short game challenge. I missed a wedge shot in the back mark.
That's right.
Kind of got put out.
That's right. There was some pretty good players that were with you. Like I said earlier, I teased at the Bryan brothers. You see those guys on social media. Wesley, I believe, is the one that's on tour now. I think the younger one, George.
He had a medical, I think he just surgery or something like that. But yeah, he's won. He was a solid player in South Carolina.
Did he win it? Who won? Did Wesley win it? Did
no,
Wesley?
No, Richie Wierenski.
Rich Wierenski.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. It's funny. We were just talking about Richie either last show or the show before last, that it's just embarrassing, but we're like, we know that name, but like, where did it come from? And then that's what it was. So he won the big break. That's exactly what it was.
He's a great player. And I mean, the same, a great guy. So, it's been good to see him succeed compared to others.
So the Chad Pfeiffer, that was the guy. He was the Iraq war veteran, right? That had the missing leg. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Like he could play, man. He could play.
He's just, he's amazing player, man.
He would just grind it out.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he was.
he would be cool to speak to for you.
Yeah, absolutely. He'd be a cool guy to hang out with. All right, so you like you said, you went out. You went out. I think the second or third episode.
Second episode. Yeah.
Second, how long do you said you stayed though? You had to stay. You stayed for the whole thing, like all the way to the end.
Yeah,
like the whole 2 weeks. And what happened after that? As far as like where did you go after that? Where after big break you went? Was it to Steelwood, or like where did you go from there to start kind of?
No, I went back home to Birmingham and worked there for about a year. I worked, and then Mark Blackburn actually introduced me to basically a mentor that I have now. He's basically like my father figure. And this guy comes up one day. I was about to quit. I have my clubs on eBay actually. I just figured that enough times without any money to play, it doesn't matter what you're shooting, I was going to give it up. And 2 days later, Mark has me come out and play with him. I meet this guy. I get done. He gives me $5,000 in the parking lot. And I went 3 weeks later and got my card for South America and went and played down there.
Yeah.
And that was 15. And then the end of that year, I went over to Africa.
Right.
Qualified Sunshine Tour and kind of got everything rolling. Made every cut that first half of the year, had full status, and slipped in a shower and broke my ankle.
I remember this.
Yeah, after my last cut, there was a summer. So over there, which is a winter, it was our off season. I was going to come home for 2 months, slipped in the shower, broke my ankle, healed up, but I couldn't get the money to go back over. Lost my status, lost my world ranking points, and that was it.
Oh, it's like just like a couple of bad breaks after bad break, man. But you still kind of you still grind it out. And when did you go, like at what point did you transition to kind of, there was a good time frame where you were coaching some like really good young golfers, some like you were coaching some mini tour guys. Like how did that whole process happen?
Well, I came back home in 2016. Not a sob story, but I'll make it quick. But I, didn't have. I go from finally getting the career going. You're traveling the world, playing golf, playing well, and everything gets swept out from under you. So I sit there for about 3 months and did the whole self-pity thing, and finally just pulled it all together and said, all right, what's the next step? Maybe if I can't get the finances to play again, then I've always coached, I've been a good coach. I was fortunate to be around, Hank Johnson, Rob Strano, Mark Blackburn.
Right.
So I started my own business, and the whole plan was at the end of 2016, I sat down, drew out a plan, and I said, in 3 years, I want to be able to save enough money to fund myself. That way I don't have to rely on anybody else. So everything was still built on playing. So I started the business. Stillwood was fortunate to have a empty building there. I financed it out, got to work, and actually grew a hell of a clientele there for 3.5 years.
Yeah. You're our boy Jordy worked with you, right? Jordy Hayden.
Yeah, man. We had him winning a while there. He was
Dude,
well.
Jordy just dominated. Was it the Scratch Tour down there in Mobile, Baldwin, Gulf Coast? Yeah, dude. You took him to new heights. He was just stroking everybody.
Did very well. Yeah, it was fun to coach.
Dude, we could tell Jordy stories for hours too. So we don't have enough time to tell all the Jordy stories, but
you're gonna need that too.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to be edited as well. Yeah. So like you get into like you said, you're doing coaching. You got a really good clientele. What's now, like what's going on now? Like tell us what you got going on now.
Yeah, so I mean, we basically have one of the best facilities in the state from a technology standpoint. It's very clean, organized. I did more of a, if players came to me that were very serious, and we would look at creating a process and a structure of everything. We monitor their sleep, their nutrition. We looked at every facet of their game. So I was really serious about trying to, develop tournament players.
Right.
So that was, it was good. Like I said, I was fortunate to be able to do that. But all the while I was building up other businesses. I had 2 other businesses that I created. Everything was just basically a goal to try to get me back to playing. So I'm sitting there watching all these other guys that I want to play against succeed, and I'm standing behind these other players coaching. It was kind of bittersweet.
Yeah, and you're like just absolutely jacked and in just amazing shape too. Then you could probably just beat everybody that you're coaching as well. I know that's got to be like a sour feeling too. So today though, like what's you said you were playing a tournament this week. Like what's Zach doing right now? Like what are you doing right now? What does it look like? What do we got coming down the road? Like what's going on and how we're looking right now?
Yeah, so I shut down ZSP Golf, which was my coaching business. Just basically liquidated all the equipment. I shut down and sold ZSP Industries, which was a dustless blasting company that I started.
Right.
And I sold basically 2 other businesses that I had. Combined all that together. Had 2 people help me with basically a set side of funding, and I got back to playing. So I moved back to Birmingham. In a loft in my buddy's house, basically went all in. And,
nice.
Started playing back tournaments beginning of this year, maybe around March, and struggled the whole year I struggled pretty badly to get my game because it's been so long to play in. But the last couple of weeks, everything's gearing up for Q School.
Yep.
I played the G Pro Tour up in Carolina. I think I played last week in Columbia. Had a good top 10 there, and then just finished today and had a top 10 again. So the game started around the corner.
And hey, don't sell yourself short. You just walk the dog at the Andalusia 4 ball too. That's my masters every year. So that's the big tournament I go to, and y'all took it to them out there.
That was a fun weekend.
That was good to see. It was good to see you out there. By the way, sidebar, I want that hat you have. I want the camo stone hat. I want that bad. I played Greystone for the first time this year, somewhere around like April or May. We played the Legacy course, and gosh, man, that facility is freaking amazing. You got the Zoysia fairways, the bent grass greens. Like Zoysia fairways are like a cheat code. I swear, dude. You just it's so pristine. That is a prime place for guys like you to just get dialed in. And there was actually a lot of tour guys out there when we were there. I think MJ, Michael Johnson was out there. Zach Suture.
Zep Straka.
Yep. He was there as well. That's a big time facility for just guys out there trying to grind it out, get ready to go play. So where will you go to? I got two more things I want to talk about. I want to talk about Q School. So how does Q School work? Tell us that's one thing that we've never really talked about. Like, how does Q School work? What are, like, after you finish, how do you know where you go? Like, how does just kind of tell us, the average dudes, like, how does Q School work?
Yeah, it's basically a 3-stage elimination, 4-stage if you have to go to pre-qualifying. So you basically put up $5,000 and you get into, if you have to go to pre-qualifying, guys do, they pre-qualify in the first stage. And then if you've had status or previous status, you can bypass stages. So I go straight to first. Basically, it's just like a tournament, but you play and try to finish. I think it's almost top 25 every week. So October, you finish top 25, that advances you to second stage, finish top 25 there. Third stage, you finish top 25 there, you get your card. You get status if you go to third stage, but there's so many criterias now from past players and the Corn Ferry that it's, if you don't get top 25, you get a conditional status. Like, I've had a buddy finish 27th. He only got a few starts. So he's, a couple shots, man, that can make or break basically a career. So, and
this is on when you're saying if you get in the top 25, you get status on the tour. That's the Corn Ferry Tour, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So how do you get? Is there not ways though that, like, if you finish certain levels, that they may send you, like, you may get status on like PGA Tour Latin America, the McKenzie Tour? No, it's not like that anymore.
Separate Q schools. I mean, you have to go.
Okay. So you're going to the Q School for the Corn Ferry Tour.
Yeah, Corn Ferry Tour. Yep.
Gotcha. Our buddy Blaine Barber just finished this season, and I think that's probably something he's going to have to do too. So, and y'all are both. That's just, I play golf with both of y'all, and it's just.
Oh yeah.
That's what people don't understand. Like for example, like I may go shoot 73 today from 6,300 yards. I'm like, dang, I got it going on. But like there's so many dudes that are just so dang good at golf. Like it's amazing, the competition level out there.
Yeah, it has. I mean, this week we played Chatmos. They had the greens rolling. They're very undulated. They had them rolling about 11. I mean, they were quick with the slopes. I mean, they were extremely challenging. I shot 68, 69, 67 today to finish 10th. Yeah.
68, 69, 67. Par 72?
No, par 70. They converted 2 par 5s to par
4s.
Yeah, 9 was 490, and I think 12 was 506. So we converted those 2 into par 4s, and it's, it's just it's good golf.
That's all you want. That's all you want. Yeah. So, all right. So you're going to go to Q school. Where will these stages be? Like, if you know where the first stage will be?
Yeah, for me, I basically get selection basically. So first stage for me is Mobile, the Robert Trent Jones there, Magnolia Grove. Second,
Nice.
Highlands and Dothan. So
Okay. I know both
yeah,
of those.
yeah,
Will
Magnolia
you,
Grove is kind of a low scores. Highlands really sets up because it's a long golf course, and that kind
yeah.
of suits my.
Which one at Magnolia Grove do you think you'll play? Probably
Is it the crossings? Is that
the
right?
crossing. I think that's the one that used to do the crossings. They did the LPGA, I believe. It's the one
Yeah,
that's, I think it comes back to the clubhouse. It's like it's the falls is just a links. It goes all the way out. And I think you don't come back until 18. So I think the
yeah,
cross,
back.
yeah, yeah. Cool. So you go top 25 there, you'll move to second stage all the way to the final stage. And then from there, that's how we'll get on. That's how we'll get us on, get Zach back on the Corn Ferry Tour, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So the last thing I kind of stumbled upon, this by accident. I didn't even know that you were sponsored by them, but it's something I've always been intrigued by because I've always wanted to be able to, I like data and I like being able to use things to kind of track my stats. But the problem is I don't know how to do it the right way. And then I don't know how to take that data and apply it and make myself better. So I've always been following this company, Archos. And it's the club sensors that you put in the grip of your club, and then it tracks how far you hit shots, where you hit shots, how you miss, and things like that. But how did you get hooked up with them? And I just butchered describing it. Sell us on it, because like I've always been so intrigued by it.
Yeah, so Ryan Chrysler, great friend of mine. I've worked alongside of him. He's a lead instructor for Claude Harmon down at the Butch Harmon Floridian.
Claude, yeah.
So we were down there, and he brings out this box, and I had these strange looking grips with citrus at the bottom of them. And I was like, what the hell is that? And he said, oh, they're tracking all my junior golfers' stats. They just hit the shots and it records where they are, and I can see every shot they hit. So he brings up all these data analytics and strokes gained. And I was like, yeah, order me a couple boxes. And fortunately, and he's an awesome guy, but he gave me a couple boxes, said, try them out. And then I did. I gave him a lot of feedback. They actually took some of the feedback, implemented it into the software,
Right.
and called me down to make a commercial after that. And they've supported me, and I've supported the product. The product's really, really good.
So if you're an amateur golfer, you're a 10 handicap. If I'm not mistaken, I've watched a lot of the infomercials. You can like sort of kind of put yourself as like a goal handicap or a target handicap that you want to get to. And what it'll do is when you play around, it'll give you your strokes gained analytics compared to the target handicap. So if it's your putting is terrible, it'll track that and it'll compare it to, like, let's say if you're a 10, you want to get to a 5, it'll compare you to the 5 handicap, and that's through the whole bag, short game, yardage, things like that. So and then correct me if I'm wrong, it'll give you like drills and stuff like that you can do to help bolster or get better at those certain parts of your game.
Yeah, so it'll show, like today I hit 17 greens, shot 67, and lost like 1.6 shots on putting. I had 2-3 putts. So they have selected instructors, but it'll pull up like basically tips on that part of your game. And, the main thing I always saw coaching, and the main thing we see, tour players, they know their game, but the average golfers and even really good golfers, they're always talking about, I didn't drive the ball well. Well, this can actually show you drove the ball better than you think, but you missed, 4 putts inside of 10 feet. So it really shows you a proper insight, not emotionally. It helps you improve drastically compared to just.
Exactly. It's like more targeted. I guess you can have more targeted practice on fixing the things that are actually costing you strokes. Like you can literally see it keeps up, and you just play. Like you don't have to do anything. You just play. You just put them in, download the app. You got it on your phone, and I think they even now have like the little caddy clip or like the little clip that's Bluetooth, so you don't have to keep your phone in your pocket, and you just play. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to have your notebook keeping, oh, I hit this fairway, I missed this fairway left, and then I got to go put it in a spreadsheet. And you don't have to do that. It does it all for you. So it's Archos. It's ARCCOS. Is that correct? Golf.com, Archos Golf. And yeah, dude, I think it's something that I'm definitely checking out. I'm probably going to purchase here soon, and I want to start doing some testing with it and play some rounds with it and just kind of get my game fine tuned. I can't wait to see how terrible my strokes game putting is. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. I'm gonna put my target at like a 0 or +2 or 3 and just like get embarrassed with my strokes game putting. So
you gotta be on good greens. Don't look at strokes gained if you're on poor greens. It doesn't work.
That's true. Hey, we play some pretty AUC. You've played University Club.
Yeah.
That's for they're pretty smooth right now. So Zach, dude, this has been so awesome to catch up. You are it's funny, like we always tell each other happy birthday because we got the same birthday. It's super easy to remember. We could do a whole show just telling crazy stories like how I wrecked into a parked car in your vehicle. How I wrecked your car in a parking lot into a parked car. Best birthday ever. Shout out to that Chinese restaurant or Japanese steakhouse in Enterprise, Alabama. So I mean, there's so many things, but it's good to see you. I'm glad you're playing golf. I'm glad you're chasing it still and grinding. And thank you so much, kind of last minute jumping on with us and filling in. And you're way better looking than Nate and Ben. So that's going to help us out too with the ladies when we post this online. So we appreciate it, dude. How do they find you on social media?
I actually deleted all social media. I think I've got Instagram at Portemont, but man, it's, if I play well enough, I think people will eventually see what's going on.
They'll find you. Cool.
We're going to go the old school route.
The old school route. No distractions. You sound like that's kind of like Boo Weekly was on a couple of weeks ago, and her last Friday, and he called it facial media.
That's basically what it is. All I saw
facial
was
media,
the weird faces and filters. So I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah. I don't think he runs his social media at all. He hadn't tweeted since 2018, and every now and then there'll be like a pretty random Instagram post out there. So I'll text. I'll keep everybody updated. We'll follow you.
Yeah, I didn't even know what TikTok was 2 weeks ago. So
we barely know what it is. That's why we're the Dadbods. We barely know what TikTok is. Yeah, exactly. So everybody, this, like I said, episode 27. Appreciate y'all's support. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. Subscribe to YouTube. It would be really fun if we get to 1,000 subscribers. Zach and I will jump on a live YouTube and we'll just chat, like live chat, like have questions, call-ins, things like that. The more subscribers, the better the better opportunities that we have for stuff like this. Go rate, subscribe, and review on the podcast app. The funnier the review, the better chance we'll read it out online, call you out online. So do that, and y'all just catch us next time. Zach, again, we're pulling for you, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
All right. Bye.